welcome everyone to our first recorded Talk It Over.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Working into podcasts as well with this, so you guys can, of course, can listen to this at any time, which is great. Again, driving in the car, going for a run, even working out, you can just have it playing and you can be listening to what's going on.
It's very motivating.
It is.
For working out.
It is. It's very motivating.
All right.
So, of course, we want to welcome you guys. We're so glad you guys could be here, of course, with us. Again, any comments, please leave those in the comments section, and we, of course, get back to you as soon as we can with a response and continue that conversation. So this week, of course, we are continuing in our series, Pre-Decide, which, of course, has been so far really good. Looking forward to the remaining messages Craig has in this series.
Yeah.
So, been really good. And today's title, of course, is The Power of Consistency.
Yeah.
Good one.
And we get to talk it over.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Exactly.
It's the post-message conversation.
It is.
About what does this look like? What does this mean? I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, but we should probably catch up a little bit first.
Yes.
So how's life been for you recently?
It's been good. Things have been still busy at work. Things have been going well. Emmett's been able, of course, to get back to school in person, so that's been good. He's quite enjoying that, being able to be a part of the social side of school, which is good. And he brought home a little friend with him this weekend. He made himself a Flat Stanley. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but
No.
Flat Stanley was a boy who got flattened by some form of a writing board and became paper thin.
The dangers of school.
The dangers of school, yes.
Okay.
So he was tasked, of course, with taking Flat Stanley on an adventure and getting a picture of Flat Stanley doing something exciting with Emmett.
Nice.
So a little project for him. So
Very cool.
Should be good. So other than that, things have been going well. Life here is still, of course, cold. The temperature has dropped quite a bit.
Yeah.
But that does mean no snow when it gets that cold. It's just cold. So
We had a little bit of both. We did get some snow.
a little bit, yeah. Not too much. But other than that, other than it getting cold, things have been good for me. How about you, Dave?
Well, the problem with all the cold is that I can't get out for a run. So when
Yes.
it's so cold that it hurts to breathe when you're out running, that's usually not good.
No.
And my oldest son keeps telling me, you're hurting yourself. You need to stop that.
Yes.
But I like to get out and get my run in, and so I've been missing that at the moment. But other than that, things have been good. Got lots done around the house and lots of things caught up on. So it's been kind of nice.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Been good. That weather allows us to catch up on those little projects that have kind of missed.
I can't do anything else anyway.
Can't do much else. Oh man. So so let us know, guys, how your week's been. Leave that in the comment. Let us know how things have been going for you guys. Maybe something new, exciting. But we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into a little bit of recap of the message on Sunday.
Yep.
And again, I like how Craig kind of, started the message out very similar to the previous ones. But I really liked how he put the direction of our lives is decided by the quality of our decisions. Yeah. And man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Because certainly the choices we make determine the direction we're headed. Again, with the people around us, that influences our direction. So we want to be very diligent in what we're choosing, what we're being around, and helping us to get to the direction that God, of course, has for us. And again, he brought in when we're faced with that ...
Yeah.
I have pre-decided.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, I came up with an answer for that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because of last week.
Yes.
When I'm faced with snow on the driveway, I am going to shovel my driveway.
That is a good decision. That needs to happen.
That's my decision. I've pre-decided that's what's going to happen.
So yes, I of course like that. It's a good mindset going into different decisions and things in life. Learning more about when we face things, we have to have some things pre-decided to know, of course, where we are. Yeah. Back to his wheel. I like going over this because, again, it's a good reminder for me about I am ready, consistent, devoted, generous, faithful, a finisher. I love that. Yeah. And I like how Craig continues to unpack each of these each week. Just bringing a different perspective on what it means to be in each of these areas in your life, in those decisions.
Think about who do I want to be?
Exactly.
Right? Those are the character qualities. Like, I want to be a finisher. Like, I'm looking forward to that message.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a finisher when it finishes well. So to go through and kind of have that reinforced, I think that's really powerful.
It is. It certainly is. And again, today talking about consistency and how important consistency is in our lives. we have to look at successful people. And what they do consistently, generally, most of us do inconsistently. Yeah. And I like how he put, some people are consistent in being inconsistent. And I know for me, that's been years ago. That used to be it. Very inconsistent with things, yeah. And that was my consistency. So people knew I'm the consistent person. if that makes any sense. 3 points that Craig really touched on that I thought was really good, really kind of center part of this message, was that we need to start with our why, plan to fail, and fall in love with the process. Yeah. The one that was hard for me was that plan to fail. I don't like planning to fail. I plan to succeed, right? I think a lot of us do that.
I heard some groans around me when we were sitting listening to this. There's people groaning like, yes. Oh, really? Plan to fail?
Yes.
But he unpacked that so well, and it made a lot of sense.
It did. It made a lot of sense.
That perfection standard really sabotages a lot of people.
It does.
If I can't be perfect and do it all the time, then forget it, I'm going to give up. And then you make no progress at all.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And Craig, of course, finished it really well today with that consistency is not perfection. Yeah. And I think we get that confused a lot of the times where we feel that consistency is what needs to be perfect, or we need to have perfection in being consistent. Yeah. And I think that's, again, where we can easily stumble, where we're trying to look for that perfection. I know Craig used, that consistency about being in my Bible app, and then I miss that one day and I lose my streak, and I'm lost that perfection, but that's not what it is. It's all about that consistency, about you miss one, don't miss two, and continue on. And certainly I feel that to be one of the big stepping points moving forward is not looking for that perfection, but staying consistent. All right, so we'll get into these questions, guys. We'll get into this discussion, but first we're going to start with a verse here. It's in Daniel 6:10. I think it's the kind of the heart part of this message that Craig focused around about consistency. But when Daniel learned that the law had been signed, he went home and knelt down, as usual, in his upstairs room. With its window open towards Jerusalem, he prayed 3 times a day, just as he had always done, giving thanks to his God. And man, when talking about Daniel and the consistency and him about bringing in this law that you can't pray for 30 days to any other god other than Darius, and he continued to continue that consistency of continuing to pray to God and focus on him. Again, excellent. Yeah. So, continuing with consistency, what are some initial thoughts, Dave, that you have when you think about the power of consistency?
Well, when you're not consistent, how it really sabotages what you're trying to do.
Oh, yes.
So we all know that. If I could just be consistent in this area and keep moving ahead, I know things would work out better. And when we don't, we get so frustrated with ourselves and we beat ourselves up over it. I know I do all the time. And then the power of consistency is something I read years ago, a book called The Slight Edge. It just means your trajectory is moving upwards and forwards towards where you're trying to get to, who you're trying to become. And even though it's little increments, consistency is moving you in that direction. Inconsistency is actually moving you in the opposite direction, away from who I want to be, who you want to be, and really to negative things. And so you're going to go one way or the other. The power of that, which one do you want to choose? And so you could be, consistently inconsistent, as you talked about, and then your life is not going where you want it to go. So it's just such a powerful idea.
And what you're saying there, Dave, about that slight edge, about slowly being consistent and moving up, and that inconsistent of falling down. And I think that's where a lot of people get trapped in that slow fade. As they slowly fade in that inconsistency over time, and they draw themselves further away from God in that inconsistency. Power of consistency. I know for me, it was always about consistency is perfection. And it was a hard stumble to really get past that. And again, Craig opening that up about it's not about the perfection, but really just being consistent in what you do in all the areas of your life, being consistent in those areas, I think is really important. Again, it can be in eating, it can be in finance, it can be in just about any kind of area you're looking at. But being that consistent in each of those areas is super powerful. And again, it continues you in the direction that God has for you. Being consistent in each of those areas. So yeah, that power of consistency can really make big changes. And of course, it changes, that consistency is the decisions we make, right?
You know, it reminds me of a message Craig did a few years ago, I think now, about training, not trying.
Yes.
And the trying is I'm going to make an effort, and as soon as I blow it, I'm done.
Yep.
But if I'm in training, I know I'm going to come up short because I'm still learning this thing, and it's okay.
Yes.
Giving yourself permission to fail sometimes, to not get there yet, because I'm working towards it. I'm getting better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly that, what Craig was saying about the, miss one but not two.
Yeah.
We all, we all have those slip ups and things that can, miss that one time, but we can't get hung up on that. We have to continue to persevere and continue to move forward in those areas. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy is it for you to be consistent? And what are some steps to take that move to get you closer to 10?
I think it depends on what area you're talking about. So you were kind of alluding to, like, there's spiritual, there's health, there's relationships, there's finances.
Yep.
Like, there's all these areas. So I know that in some areas I'm actually pretty good. I'm like a 7 or an 8.
Yep.
And in other areas I'm like a 3 or a 4 in my consistency. And I just want to do a better job at that.
Yep.
So I think it just depends on which area I'm talking about. And if it's the area I'm focusing on, I have been getting better. Like, I've been doing health stuff, and so that is improving my consistency.
Yep.
Other areas, not so much. I think that how was the third point he talked about for me, which is the whole idea of fall in love with the process.
Yes.
It's not all just about the goal. You actually have to enjoy the process along the way.
Yeah.
And I struggle with that sometimes. For me, it's all about what's the goal? What do I need to get to? It's all about that.
Yep.
And the truth is, like, the process of getting healthier, physically being in better shape so that I can serve God better and have more energy. Like, I can enjoy that as I go rather than it's a drudgery, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
I get to rather than I have to.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say I'm very similar again. Yeah, those different areas can be strengths or not so strong inconsistency for sure. And yeah, that consistency in areas can be really, great, and you're looking forward to being consistent and being, that's really pulling forward. And then those ones that are really not so consistent, it almost seems like it drags down. You feel almost like, what's the point of continuing?
It's discouraging.
It can be extremely discouraging. Certainly, I know for me, food is a big one where it can be really hard to be consistent in eating better, eating less, and not eating all the time, and trying to work on that. And just, I've worked on it many times, all those areas all at once. And I'm finding I need to focus on one area, get consistent.
That's good.
And then pick up a second area in that same spot and start getting consistent in that. And for me, that's how I have to focus. And that can be in any area that you may struggle with consistency. If it's a big area, maybe it's I need to pick one small piece, get consistent, another small piece, get consistent. And eventually you'll start working that big piece and get consistent in it consistently. For me, that's my steps, is just a little piece at a time.
I think that's good. And I think, depending on if you're listening to this, what your areas you're working on, like, to pick an area and let that be your focus for a little while, so you can develop that consistency. Because then you get a win and you feel like you're making some progress, and it kind of builds you up to keep going. Because, boy, when you feel like you're failing in lots of areas, it's very discouraging and you just want to give up.
So for sure.
To focus in on an area and really go after that, I think that's a great idea.
And celebrate those little wins. I know we've talked about that years ago, about celebrating the little wins, and it's not celebrating that big goal all the time. It's celebrating those little wins, those little accomplishments, those little consistencies that you can keep at, and celebrating those and enjoying those. And again, that's part of that journey. Enjoying the journey, enjoying those little wins as you move along that journey to the bigger goal.
Well, Pastor Craig talked about that in the message, didn't he? Where he talked about he's taking jiu-jitsu. And he's learning, and it's a struggle. And for him, the win is not getting a black belt. For him, the win is I show up and I'm there and I'm training. And investing in that little bit of the process to move forward, so that you can celebrate the little wins along the way.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I related really well with that with Pastor Craig. That's an area for me. I'm not jiu-jitsu, but Taekwondo for me. And I, of course, started at that white belt, and out of those that are there. Over the years I've done it to my black belt, none of them are there. And it's the consistency of being there to get to that point is what got me there. It's not necessarily just getting to that belt. It's the consistency of putting in the work and the time to really see the outcome come to complete.
Makes a big difference.
It does. It certainly does. All right. So let's talk about an area of our lives in which we want to be more consistent. How would you define your why for choosing this area?
An area where I want to be more consistent. I think there's a few of those. There's an area actually that I was more consistent in, and it's been slacking recently. And because I made it more about the goal and not about the process.
Okay.
And that was with our finances. So we have always, as a family, Carolyn and I budgeted every month, made sure to check it, keep everything up to date, right on top of it.
Yep.
And the last couple of times we've been falling behind. Guys, a couple of months before we actually get to it. And it's that whole idea of embracing the process and recognizing how valuable that is in kind of being consistent with keeping on top of it, so that we're always knowing like where are we at financially and how do we need to adjust to what's going on to bring that area into just a better shape. And so I think for me, the idea is actually what Craig talked about, that I want to not be in a place where we're strapped financially and wondering where we are. I hate that. We were there years ago. And when we stay on top of it, then we actually have the finances to do the things we want to do, to be generous.
Yes.
And that's my heart. I like to be able to help, and I like to be able to give things away. And so when we're staying on top of it, we can be generous. And when God prompts us about something, we can respond. I don't feel like I don't have any room to do that. And so for me, that's the big why, is I want to be generous and I want to be obedient to God and using what he's prompted me to do to give it away to people. And that's why I need to be on top of the finances.
Yeah.
Now, what about for you?
Yeah. For me, it's got to be, it's a food area for sure. I know before transplant, we, for my son, we started, you and me went to Orange Theory. And that was part of my drive. And my why was I need to be healthy to, for my son, to be there for him later, as well as being able to donate. And so that drive really pushed me to be really consistent in being at the gym, eating healthier, not eating late, better portion size. It really pushed me to be very consistent and diligent in what I was doing. And that started to slip for me. And unfortunately, it went the other way. And everything that I had achieved up to that point, I lost. And so I'm seeing the effects of that now and realizing, okay, I need to make a change. And so I need to be, again, starting those small areas. Starting with one is now not eating late. That's the first step for me, getting consistent with that. We, of course, have had a fast this month. And that was my fast this month, was not eating after 9 o'clock. And been consistent with that for the month and going to continue that. So I want to continue to do these small things and implementing the next step of being consistent.
I'm curious though, so what's your why now? Because it's different. You don't have to get in shape.
So I don't have to
son,
I don't have to get in shape for him, but my why now is again, I want to honor God with everything. So that includes my body, what goes in, what goes out, and I need to honor him with that. And the way I need to do that is I need to be healthier. And so it's shifted from the focus of my son now to this is what God wants me to be. The body's a temple. I need to be doing my part to maintain it. And I, of course, want to be healthier for my son as well. That's a little add-on. Get to be healthy with him, get to continue to play and do things with him, and have the energy to do that. So, really looking forward to continuing to focus on God through this process and trying to really bear down on getting that healthier consistency, of course, in my life.
So you can get to 70, 80, 90 years old and still have energy and still be going.
And still be able to row 2,000 meters. That's the goal. I'd like to be able to do that as I consistently age. I'd like to continue to be able to do that. So it's good. It's good. So guys, again, if you guys are watching this, let us know. What's that consistency for you? Maybe there's an area that you were consistent like me and lost, and now we're getting back to it, and maybe your why has changed. But that why is super important. And because that's really the centering point for you to really center around to move you forward in that area to be consistent. So let us know in the comment, guys. We can certainly get back to you, but yeah, leave it to let us know you're there, because we, of course, would love to continue to connect with you guys each and every week. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy this. This is a lot of fun. This is the excellent questions. And of course, guys, if you guys want to continue to dive into this stuff deeper, you, two friends, can easily be a part of this, starting a life group. And again, diving into this stuff a little bit deeper. And again, getting some more perspectives, which of course, I love different perspectives. It makes a big difference.
We need that, right? That's what God talks about. We need to have different perspectives. And so how easy is that? Grab two friends, sit down with the talk it over questions. We can make them available. Life Church makes them available. And you can just walk through the 4 or 5 questions that are there and talk about things maybe you don't normally talk about and yet are so valuable.
Yes.
And can really make a difference in your life going forward.
Yep. So yeah, so easy way to do it, guys. Continue to dive into that stuff, because it certainly is important. I know I love our life group. Again, get together each week, dive into these questions, have a great discussion, and yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So again, we want to, of course, thank you guys for joining us. And again, yeah, we've got this as podcast on YouTube on our channel at LifeNorth.Church. It is there. It'll be posted. You guys can watch it, catch up on any messages, maybe things that you've missed and want to catch up on. It's all there. You can check out our Facebook page. Everything is there. Links will be there. You guys can link straight over, catch the stuff, no problem. Of course, we want to thank the production guys behind us here that are making this, of course, happen each and every week for us. We certainly can't do it without them, so we certainly want to thank them and appreciate the time that they spend with us. And of course, we want to remember, we will, of course, be back here again next week and are ready for the next in the series of Pre-Decide. Again, I think it's going to be good. We've got a few more to go. It's excellent. Make sure you guys watch those. They are excellent. And of course, we want to remember, whoever finds God
finds life.
Finds life.